Welcome to the mobile home movement, where we showcase the beauty and affordability of mobile homes. Here we break false myths and share all the positive stories of how mobile home ownership transforms lives. I'm Franco Perez, and this is the mobile home movement. What's up, guys, and welcome to the mobile home movement. We have a very, very special guest we don't often get to.
No, thank you for having me.
We have Sunny Mock. I guess, like last episode, we talked a lot about your development. I think the key thing that's changed in this quarter is two big things. One is you've had
for you to share this.
One is the development in the Vietnamese YouTube channel. Right? I think, I've worked on my Franco mobile home channel for 4 years or so, and about like 20,000 views a month. And then within 2 months, Sunny's been working on her Vietnamese YouTube channel.
Yes.
And somehow it's getting 200,000 views a month, which is crazy. I mean, it must be because I'm so pretty on camera, and it's easy, it gets better views or something. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't know what it is, but and it really helped us understand, in mobile homes, I feel like the Viet culture is very aware of their finances. They came from a country with not a lot of financial opportunity. They moved here. They want to benefit from real estate, and they understand interest, they understand rent, they understand cash flow, right? But there's a real reason of why in the mobile home space there's so many Viet families that understand it and that use it to their benefit. Do you want to tap in on that just briefly?
So this week marks the 50th year anniversary of the fall of Saigon. So to be able to just reflect on 50 years of Vietnamese people coming over to this country with basically absolutely nothing, and to see what our community has been able to obtain and grow to, and not only that, but being able to participate and help Vietnamese families get the piece of the American dream, which is to own real estate in one of the best countries in the world, but also in one of the most expensive markets in the country as well. Is just so fulfilling. I'm just so happy.
Yeah, and for context wise, and there's a lot of debate and conversation about immigrants, and for some reason you see a lot of immigrants that are financially growing from literally nothing in their pocket, or immigrating from Vietnam with nothing. And, because coming from scarcity, you really appreciate opportunity. And then you have the vice versa, people that grow up in a world of many opportunity, but don't know the value of it, or don't see that yet, right? But I've seen in several clients, you've seen in several clients, I've seen in family and friends that, there's families that come from nothing. They work so hard over the weekends, no days off, whatever it is, so humble with their finances. They're not, materialistic, but because, that's their culture, they save. They don't need to show off with what they have, but behind the curtain in their bank account, they have so much cash that they built up in by working these humble jobs and making these great financial decisions. And we see, like you said, somebody that was a nail salon, and just grew, maybe the only upgrade was maybe owning her own nail tech situation, but now has cash to own a mobile home. Yeah. Right? Whereas I don't want to talk too much about that, but it's just an amazing thing to see. And I think it's something to be said to have a face that can really speak for that story, speak that culture. You grew up with immigrant parents that, your parents moved here from Vietnam. Yeah. And you've witnessed that drive, from your parents, how hardworking they are. Right?
Exactly.
But that being said, man, a big tangent, but I think it's valuable. The Vietnamese community has responded with great views.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going around town with Sunny and
Oh my
everyone's...
gosh. Yeah.
We go to a Vietnamese restaurant in San Jose, and they're just like, "You're that girl from YouTube."
I know. We were in a restaurant in Vietnam town, and then I look up. I'm like, "Oh my god, that's me!"
Yeah.
And they were playing it on the TV, or not just at open houses and everything. They're like, "You're from YouTube." Or if I was getting a pedicure, and a client called, and I was talking, and when I hung up, a nail tech from across the room was like, "I recognize that accent from anywhere," because I feel like my accent is more of like an Americanized accent, but on top of that too, I learned Vietnamese from my grandparents, so it's more of like a country accent as well. So it's a weird like merged accent that I don't really hear, that I guess people don't really hear.
Yeah,
So.
I think for a lot of people it's unique or it stands out. But it's
Yeah.
kind of cool, I say. And I think like what's good is you were very afraid to speak Vietnamese before, but you got out of your comfort zone, started filming in Vietnamese and building value for people, right? So and that's why you got so many views on your YouTube channel, and I think you're going to continue to grow that.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. Let's go from there into on top of that, you recently got nominated for an award, which is the...
Not even nominated. I got
the
it.
30...
National Association of Realtors 30 under 30 for this year. So 2025.
Cool. So she got nominated, and recently we just found out this is not just county-wide, not statewide. Actually, before we even got the 30 under 30, you got top 1% in the county.
Yeah.
That's out of 4,000 agents in this county.
Yeah.
You're the top 1%.
And you are top 1% too.
Yes,
so.
yes. Yeah, which I think, like I expressed to you, is like it took me 4 or 5 years. Actually, probably even more than that to get to the level to, like technically like 9 years, to get to the level to get to the 1% agent, right? But this is your year 3. And you're a top 1% agent, right? Which is incredible.
So crazy.
It really is. What do you feel like got you to get to that so quickly?
I think like your mentorship. So I feel like you are such a good teacher too. Whatever it took you 9 years, that should be a testament that like your mentee got it in like 1/3 of the time and stuff. So like I have to think like my growth with you and our team and whatnot. And I think the other one is really just finding my niche and my passion. I always tell like even my friends are saying that like the way that I'm always working and stuff, and they say that like it's hard for them not to be envious of me because I don't view my job as work. It's basically my passion, and I found it so early in life that it's kind of like all I think about. And I think that really helps out too, just being able to help as many families as possible and providing that top level of service that now my clients are not just clients, but they also refer me business as well. Yeah. So being able to continue that cycle and then grow our team so that we can handle the capacity without while like maintaining that level of service too.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, and I think to what we said in the last podcast is like that level of care and like, and you do so much that you're not expecting the rewards or anything. It's like you make so many decisions sometimes where you don't make much.
Yeah,
right?
That's why like I was so surprised. I'm like, me getting like 1%, because I feel like for me, I view you, I'm like, I was always assuming that you would get top 1% like every year. Like that was nothing. But like now to be recognized basically in the same category as my mentor was so unexpected. I did not expect it. And then on top of that, having another national award as well is crazy to me.
Yeah. So, so top 1% in the county, which is one of the toughest counties to get that in.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the NAR, National Association of Realtors, so that's countrywide, all the way to New York, Florida, Texas, all of it, right? So the top 30 under 30, right? So this is really kind of like a lot of the rookies or whatever, but still like experienced agents. But countrywide, you made it to the top 30 under 30, which is incredible, right? So kudos and
the only mobile home specialist too.
Yeah.
So that's just, I'm just really, really blessed and happy.
That's amazing. So that's so beautiful. I think, it's really a reward to I think we should spend a moment to just kind of like appreciate how hardworking you are. It's not just all sunshine and rainbows. You cry, you have breakdowns, you have like stressed out anxiety moments, and like, you have times you want to quit and give up. You have troubled people that will yell at like the competition agents or whatever it is. Like there's a ton of problems that you go through to make it there, right? There are issues that happen. That it's a lot, but you've grown so much. You've gotten past those hurdles, past those hard humps, and now have grown so much. So it's exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just incredible. I wanted to add another use case story because this is another story specific to Sunnyvale, which is a very common problem. Like Sunnyvale housing is very expensive. You helped a couple, Vinny and Leslie, that were renting an apartment for a 2-bedroom apartment in Sunnyvale for $4,500 a month, right? Literally in the same block is a mobile home park, and you help them transition from that rental apartment to a very a newer, I think it's only like a 3-year-old mobile home. But what were their pain points, and why were they deciding going from renting an apartment to a mobile home?
Yeah, so Vinny and Leslie actually came here a few years ago from Texas, and they were living in that 2-bedroom apartment that you were talking about. Leslie's dad is a disabled veteran, and he recently just moved in with them. So now they both work from home, and they're crammed in this 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment with the 3 of them, and Leslie's dad is wheelchair bound, and they don't live on the first floor. So you can tell that or you can assume that it was pretty difficult for him to get around and everything. They wanted to move into a mobile home because after evaluating their income and whatnot, they're not comfortable with spending that a ton of money on a residential, and they want to stay in Sunnyvale. And because of Vinny's work, it would not make sense for them to move out of the Bay Area.
Yeah. So coming from that 2-bedroom apartment, they have a dog, they have a dad that needs to move in from Texas. It became a situation where they needed a better upgrade of living, right? So what home did you find them?
So it was actually one of your listings, PDR 498.
Yeah.
It was a newish home, 2021 build.
It's a beautiful home.
So beautiful. I actually showed that home I saw that home when I first started, or when I was, I think I was on a showing with you or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But it's a beautiful home. Big backyard, which we really don't see in mobile homes, because Leslie and Vinny were used to this Texas lifestyle. They actually they lived there most of their lives. One of their wish lists was something with a big backyard so that they can host barbecues and parties, but then also a 3-bedroom so that they can have an office space that they can work in when they're working from home, but then also give their dad an independence where he can move freely within the home as well. And the backyard really helps with their dog too. So
that's awesome. So basically, they went from the apartment. How big was that home? Because it was a huge home. It was 1,600 square foot actually. The big yard in Sunnyvale, literally the same block, right? Same zip code, whatnot. Not only that, they have tons of amenities. They're so close to the clubhouse.
Yeah.
There's 3 swimming pools in that park.
Yeah. And they really like that it's on the quieter side
Yeah.
of Plaza del Rey. For those who don't know, Plaza del Rey, there's like the big Plaza del Rey park, and then to the left side there's a smaller, more quieter, but just as many amenities. And they love the home.
Yeah.
So.
And the floor plan of that, it's a triple wide, but it was a split floor plan, so they can have that layout where they have privacy from their dad moving in, right? So, you know, that way they can be as loud as they want if they chose to in their master bedroom. I don't know why. But anyways, that being said, no, it was just great to kind of see that happen, you know, and how you were able to make that successful for them.
Yeah.
And they were so happy. So.
Yeah, it was actually very anxiety-inducing for them throughout the process, even getting through the pre-approval process. Because, and this is why we always stress working with a mobile home specialist, because they actually kind of ghosted me after I first met them at an open house, because they decided to work with another agent that they met at, like, I'm assuming another open house. They walked them through the pre-approval. Major lenders just denied them. Didn't have enough credit history that they couldn't count it. He would only be able to borrow, I want to say like $180,000, and they had $60,000 down. Yeah. That really cannot get them much in Sunnyvale. Yeah. So they kind of threw away that dream or the possibility of even owning anything. I actually called them after the new year, and I'm like, oh, hey, I haven't talked to you guys in like 2 months. Are you guys still looking for a mobile home? Because I just want to be on the same page as you. Kind of told me the story, and they're like, we don't qualify, things like that. I'm like, I think you guys do. I actually have another lender, got them pre-approved, that's a direct lender and everything, and I got them pre-approved for $300,000. So that's where working with a mobile home specialist is good, because just because one path might not work, if you're working with someone who's in the market and has the networking and the experience, then you'll be able to divert to like another path that might be better for your situation.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's great. So you basically, by having the experience, you know the creative ways to get them. You know, there's people that qualify, there's people that don't qualify, but there's people on the edge that like have just a little bit of issues that don't qualify. But because of your experience and working with several different lenders and understanding creative financing options too, you were able to get them from the barely under qualifying to qualifying, and you were able to get them a success story. So amazing podcast. Excited to see your growth. Congrats on the 30 under 30 and the top 1% in the county. So
thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at the next one.